So like, I mean, multiple things wouldn't be happening. It just wouldn't be possible. Your perception of time, your perception of these things, like how fast or slow or how quickly or slowly you experience time varies based on based on your body chemistry, things like your age and how many days you've experienced. Like how much time you have experienced, and all of your senses and the condition of all your senses. Your organs, your organal senses, the organs that are based on your senses, like your eyeballs, your nose, and your skin. Things like your skin. That's one of the most important ones because it's the one. It's your exo organ. You know what it's the thing that's directly between the rest of you and the outside world. So the skin and your hair and things like that are the first thing that information, anything coming in, hits. And your mental state, that's a big one. If you're in a deep bad mental state, your perception of time could be all over the place. And your brain and body chemistry matter a lot. So cuz drugs should be evidence of this. They change your physical and mental chemistry. Like they change your body. They change the chemistry in your body. There's an interaction happening there. There's time emerging from the event happening within your body when you ingest chemicals of any sort. And these all change your perception of time. My previous video about the chemtrails, and they're spraying all the time, we can't know how that's affecting us. Because I mean, like, you can look up what the chemicals are. You can actually do this. You can look up what the chemicals are. I've done it before. They're big scary words, man. They're big, like 20 letter words, like benzo, but fucking they're crazy. They're insane scientific words, things that you would never, just by reading the word without ever knowing what they are, you would definitely not want them in your body because you can't even freaking pronounce the thing. Your body chemistry and everything, your entire body, it also matters in your perception of time because it's information coming in from the outside world, and that can come in fast or slow or big, small, round, square, orange. Yeah, I mean, it's the human nature. It's emotions. It's here's a mental exercise. If there's an object, if you just take a cube of some piece of matter, or just say a piece of metal, and you stick it, you get it out of any interactions. You take it away. You take a piece, just take an object and get it away from any interactions. Get it out of the atmosphere. Get it away from people, animals, chemicals, anything. Put it in a void. Literally interacting with nothing, and in theory, at least I feel, it should last forever because it's not interacting with anything. It's literally not experiencing time because there are no events happening from which time can emerge. I hope that makes sense. And it's the whole way I figured all this out, is if you think about an object in a void, how's it going to experience time? And I'm not talking about you, because your body would still be experiencing time. If you were in a void, there would be interactions within your body, and that would be time happening. I'm talking about a solid object, like a piece of metal, an inanimate thing with no interactions in a void that has no other interactions. That should be timeless. Literally, by definition, timeless. Should last forever. The whole reason we experience time is because we're in an environment where there are constant, and I mean literally constant, interactions happening, which means that there are events from which time can emerge. Time travel. Time travel would have to be either not possible or not exactly what we think it is, not what we're told that it is. So like we're told so time travel assumes the linear thing because you just go back, right? You just go back and that assumes that everything is changed. But what are you going back through? This was the other thing about there being no medium for time. Time travel is not possible because there's no medium through which time can for you to there's no medium for you to travel through. There's no you should there's air here. There's water out there. These are mediums through which we can travel through. Air travels faster. I mean, sound travels faster through air than it does water. These are mediums. Sound needs a medium to travel through, and these are mediums. There's no medium. Time is a phenomenon. It is not a. There's no. So time travel is not possible. You can't go back into the past. It assumes a linear. It doesn't make. It just simply doesn't make sense because if you they one of the Marvel movies brought this up. Even going backwards in time is not going backwards in time. If you go back in time, you're still in present. So like there's that as well. So time can't be linear because multiple things are happening at the same time. Learn the English language is screwed. What traveling into the past would have to be, because remember, I said earlier, time is linked to the physical world, which means that it's linked to physical objects. It's linked to the physical matter, literally physical matter itself, because those are the things that change. What else changes but the physical world? What else is there that can change? You know what I mean? So changing a physical object would mean, going back in time would mean having to change a physical object. It would mean having to change. So looking at it linearly, the way movies and stuff do, you would have to go back in time would be this all-encompassing thing that changes the entire physical world. That's absolutely absurd. If that is possible, that's far beyond anything I can explain with this because this is the only explanation for time I've been able to come up with that makes sense, and it's not what they say, because what they say doesn't make sense. So going back in time, going in the past, time travel in general would mean having to change physical objects. If I start here and go here, and I want to go back into the past, I would have to create a device that puts it back here. But more seriously, back to the torn paper thing, like physical object. It currently has no time, except for me interacting with it, obviously. But we're assuming it's in a void. A piece of paper in a void has no time. So something comes along, me comes along in this void, and I just tear it and leave it and go, and I leave it here like this. How's it gonna go back? How's it gonna go back? There was time during the tearing. Now there's no more time because it stopped. The interaction has stopped. So in order to go back in time, you would have to reverse this interaction. You would have to restitch all these little fibers back together within the paper. It's freaking impossible. That's freaking impossible. You would have to you would have to create a device that turns this paper's time back. You know what I mean? You would have to create a device that restitches this. But even that is not going back in time, because that's not reversing the action of me tearing the paper. That's restitching the paper. That's restitching it back to paper. That's creating a whole new that's creating more time. That's creating a whole new event for time to emerge from, stitching the paper back together. So you would have to create a device that literally turns this paper's time backwards, which is freaking impossible. That's impossible, okay? Like, you can't just reverse an action. You can repair, you can fix, you can replace. I feel silly having to explain how time works. Is that I for some reason I feel very silly having to explain how time works, because like it's just the physical world changing. That's why it eludes to the illusion of time. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. There was no time that happened. All I did was tear a freaking piece of paper. I changed the physical world. Is that everything on here? It is an illusion. It alludes to something that is not real or tangible. That's what I wrote there. It alludes to something that is not real or tangible. And that thing that is not real or tangible is time. We just have a word for it because it's a phenomenon that you have to be able to explain. All matter has its own individual time. Being able to experience things repeatedly should be evidence of the eternal now. Why else can you watch a movie over and over and over? The same movie, the exact same sequence, over and over and over and over. It's because of the eternal now. It's because it's just an interaction. It's just an event that is happening. It's just the physical world that's changing. It's just pulling information from the disc or the tape or whatever format you're using. It's matter interacting with other matter, giving you the illusion that time is moving forward because there's change, right? And the whole reason you can't go back in time is because it is just matter changing. You can't, once something happens in the physical world, it's permanent. That's why we have to be careful as humans. This is innate human behavior. We can't just, if time were a medium we could travel through, we wouldn't have to be careful. I have hit all 17 points. Time is an illusion. Okay, it's not real. Sorry for this insanely long video, but it took that much to explain this, and I'm not gonna do another one because it's some difficult shit to explain, because it's just everybody's caught up in this fourth dimension bullshit. It's not, it is literally a dimension because you can measure it. You can use a stopwatch, right? And measure 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 hours. It's just interactions. It's just events happening in the physical world. It's what it really is. It's events happening in the physical world that are related to the sun, because that's what we use to measure time. That's what we use to measure time, is because a clock ticks, and each tick is an interaction, right? But it's a particular interaction. It's a measured interaction. It's a measured movement, right? That's how our clocks work. So we have a measured movement. It's keeping track when the sun goes around, and every time it makes a circuit, one full circuit, measured amount on the clock, right? 1 hour, 2 days, 3 days, 1 day, 2, yeah, whatever increment, whatever. But you get the point. That's the clock works because the sun exists. The sun is our time. Okay, the sun is our time measure stick, whatever you want to call it. It's our gauge. Don't get caught up in these dumb ideologies that they spread, because this is how they confuse you. Please break the cycle.